Have you ever prayed? You've fasted, you've cried, and it felt like God is silent. It felt like the heavens are closed against you. Like your words are bouncing back. You're going through pain, going through a lot. You're talking to God. You're not getting a response back. It looks like you're the one just speaking, and God is not talking back. There's no response from heaven. I want to show you that sometimes God's silence means that God is speaking, and that God is sending you a message, that God is saying something to you. Let's be very honest. Silence is very uncomfortable, especially when we are in pain, especially when you are going through challenges. You just want God to answer you. Sometimes you want the answers like now. You want it immediately. And that time you will now begin to feel that God has abandoned you, God has left you, God has walked away from you. But the book of Psalm 28 verse 1, David wrote this psalm. He said, "To you I will cry, O Lord my rock. Do not be silent, lest if you are silent to me, I become like those who go down to the pit." You can imagine a man like David, who functioned in the office of a priest and a king in his time, and a man that the Bible said that God said that is a man after his own heart. And imagine that even David at the point of his life felt like God has left him. He felt like God has abandoned him. That was how he felt. So David went through these same challenges also. So you see, David went through this same challenge. At the point of David's life, he was desperate. David wanted something to happen. David wanted God to say something to him. But here's the truth. Silence many times can mean different things. Number one, silence could mean that God is testing your faith. When God is testing the faith of a man, God can decide to keep quiet and see how much the man trusts in him, how much the man is following him. Look at what the Bible says in the book of James chapter 1 verse 3. The Bible said, "Because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." So, you remember that when you're writing a test, when you're writing an examination, the teacher is always quiet. The teacher is always silent, he's always quiet, he's just observing. At that point, it looks like he's a wicked person. It looks like does not care about you. That same teacher that has been your friend, that maybe you have communication with, maybe you have a relationship with, at the time of examination, he stays quiet. What is happening that time? That is where your faith is being tested. So the first thing that makes God to be silent in the life of a person, a believer, is that God is testing the level of your perseverance. When God is testing the level of your perseverance, God would just allow his silence to go through the room. It can be for a season. You can just be asking God, what are you saying? And God is not saying nothing. Another reason that God can be silent in the life of a person, a believer, is that sometimes God can be walking behind the scenes. When God is walking behind the scenes of a man, he will look like everything has already crumpled before you. In Romans chapter 8 verse 28, the Bible says, "And we know that all things work together for the good of those that love him." So you are asking God something and God is not saying anything. Maybe God is planning something very bigger for you. Maybe God is working behind the scenes because of you, and he does not want you to even know what is coming. And the Bible says, all things. The Bible did not say some things. It said all things work together for good to them that love God. There is a clause, them that love God. So once God knows that you love him and you are asking him for something, it means that God might be working behind the scene. God is actually working behind the scene. Because why? You don't see that. You are not seeing does not mean that God is not active. I can give you a lot of examples with life, but you're not seeing it does not mean that God is not acting. It's just like a man and a woman and they are together, maybe they are dating or they are married, and all of a sudden her birthday is coming and it's next week, and she's telling the husband, you know, next week is my birthday, what are you going to do for me on my birthday? And the man is not saying anything. The second day, what are you going to do for me on my birthday? Is not saying anything. And it's the day to the birthday, the man is saying, oh, this year I'm not sure I'm going to do anything for you. I don't have much in my hand, I don't have money, you know, I have a lot of projects I'm working on. And that will be the time that she's been tested. The day of the birthday comes and the man just say happy birthday in words, no gifts, nothing, and she's already pissed. You know, women are very emotional, and she's angry and she's already throwing tantrums with her attitude and all. And then the man calls and says, please, where are you? They just arrested me, come and meet me at so and so place. Unknowingly to her that he's working something behind the scene for her. Now, don't forget, in the past few weeks he has been silent, he has not been saying nothing, and suddenly she gets to the place and coming to meet an event or something happening, the next thing she hears, people are shouting surprise and all that. You can now see that if she maybe did not respond to that call, she will miss what was already waiting for her. If she responded to the call and she got there, she had passed the test. That is how God is sometimes. God will be silent because God is working behind the scene. Another reason that God is silent is because we are not ready to hear what He's saying yet. You understand? We are not ready to hear. You know, sometimes we as humans, we are very, very, very emotional that we don't want to even know what God is saying. Sometimes, look at what Jesus was saying to His disciples in John chapter 16 verse 12. He said, I still have many things to say to you. He said, but you cannot bear them now. I have a lot to tell you, but you cannot carry the weight. You are not ready to carry the weight. I want to use my life as an example. There was a season in my life that I was praying about a relationship that went south. And you know, I'm as a servant of God in this dispensation, and also a priest, a pastor. It was a challenging moment for me, but I had to ask God what He wanted for me, what was His choice for concerning me, because it was not working out. Everything was going bad and all that. And at the point I was like, okay, what is God trying to tell me? What does God want for me? And God was silent. I asked God, okay, fix it if it's what you want, or do something about it. But God was not saying anything. At the point I began to see that God was silent because He wanted me to understand that that thing was not, that season of my life had to end. You see, months later, as time went on, the relationship ended. It was very painful for myself, for the other party, but there was something that happened to me that began the increase and the growth of who I am in God today. In fact, it freed me to grow into the person that God was calling me to become. There are many persons that will judge and say all manner of things, but I knew that God wanted that chapter of my life to come to an end. When I look back now, I saw that God's silence was Him trying to protect me. As I close today, I want to tell somebody here that instead of fearing the silence, I want you to lean into it. Let it teach you patience. Let God's silence, let it strengthen your faith. And I want to tell somebody here, let it strengthen your faith. So drop your comments. What season of silence are you in right now? And if you have come out of that season, can you share how God used it for your good? And can you also encourage somebody in the comment section and tell me how this has blessed you? Thank you, and I remain your host, Pastor Fego. Please, I would like you to share this video, like and subscribe. I would like you to share this video, like and subscribe. Thank you.